Hey guys, it's Kara here at the Wildwood Wonder Homestead, and it's time for an updated homesteading tour. Come follow along as we show you all the growth, all the things that we've learned doesn't work, and what is happening in the middle of July here in Northeast Mississippi. Alright, so it is July 19th, it's the middle of July. It is super hot and steamy, y'all. So every day we have to wake up really early if we're going to work outside. It's done by 8, 9 o'clock. It's too hot. It's too humid. I've talked about that before. It's not just hot, it's humid, and your clothes just get stuck to you. As soon as the sun comes up over the trees, it's over. And so we have to wait till about 5, 6 o'clock to go back out and do anything outside because, once again, it's not as hot with the sun beaming down on you. And so pretty much a lot of inside stuff, but that's okay because there's been a lot of canning and freezing and putting things up, getting ready for the winter, putting up all the harvest. So that's how I'm kind of spending my time. I've been updating the website with the blog, so if you want some more details or directions or updates, and then I have some recipes and some easy things that I figured out about putting up food that are coming soon. So go check that out at the website. But let's get started on this porch because there's been a lot of growth. Things are starting to pop out. Things are surprising me. Things didn't work out. So there's lots going on here. We're going to start on the porch. I'm going to show you some updates around the homestead. And then we'll end up in the bottom garden like always. So come on. Okay, so here is the front porch. This bed we have let go to seed, and it is just taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to actually let everything go to seed. It's finally getting to the point where they're getting the little puffers and getting the seeds that I'm going to be able to gather from. Same thing with the carrot. So it's just taking it a while, but it's getting there. So if you can see that. So that's just a learning experience. I have tomatoes that are waiting to get in this bed. They're down here. They're getting long and leggy, but they're still making it. So once they get into some soil, they are just going to grow just like these. These have done amazing. So the growth on these has just been crazy in the past 2 weeks. I really wish I would have started to measure, and you have to remember I buried them kind of deep. So all that's going to be roots from here to here in there. I'm only watering, deep watering, depending, it was once a week. It's so hot now, and these are, in beds and in pots and stuff on the porch that I'm deep watering twice a week right now just because it is so hot and steamy, but I don't want to pamper my plants, okay? And so, Hugh Richards, he is a gardener from Wales, and he has a really good YouTube channel. You should check it out. But I can't do it with a Welsh accent, but he tells you not to pamper your plants. So we're not pampering them. We're going to let them, learn to survive in this heat. And they say it helps with seeds. If you are saving seeds, then you want to save them from the plants that survived and could adapt to your climate. And so you don't want that plant that's going to die anyway. It wasn't strong enough for your climate and for what you're doing. And so this is an old sandbox. I think I've told y'all that before, a cedar sandbox that was too small for the kids, and they weren't playing in it. So it got moved into a garden, and I have purslane in there and green beans, and that is my 6th succession of green beans, guys, and they are still coming. So I will link above to the succession video if you want to watch that and how I plant throughout every month different things. And then the tomatoes are in there, and then I'll have to add some corner supports once these get really big. So that's what's going on there. I was able to actually get a cutting or get an extra plant off of this Mexican petunia. It dipped down into this little pot, put some dirt in it, and it has rooted in there. So now I'm going to have some extra petunias, and I'm going to cut off of that too, and I'm just going to keep that going. Now, our spiky plants, I'm going to have to show you the one that actually made it over there on the porch, and it is huge, okay? So I'm finding these all over the place now, and I'm getting the spiky plants, and I am putting them in here, And then there's some more I had to just kind of soak for a little while to get them started. But transferring them, got some artichokes. I've got to move into the shade. I'm glad I saw that. They're not going to make it here anymore. And then just some little peppers and some wildflowers I was experimenting with. Our watering buckets are empty, so which is okay. I like them to empty every once in a while because, as you can see, it gets dirty at the bottom. So I'm going to take that out, wash it out, clean it. This is the only rainwater we have left besides a little tiny bit in the other bucket. It was supposed to rain today. It did not. So we have not had rain in over a week and a half. And so herbs are doing okay. And then the porch is doing awesome in some places. Now, some things I'm disappointed in, but that's okay. But overall, it's doing awesome. So if you can see an overall tour or view, I guess. All right, so let's talk about this bed. This was the first, no, that was the first planting of beans that I did, guys. It's still going. There are still beans coming off of those plants. This was the second succession. Still got beans. The third is over there on the other side of the tomatoes. Still have beans coming on that. The fourth is over here next to the tomato plants and over here in that bed. I got beans coming off of that. And then I started a fifth succession over there in the tomato bed. I may have said sixth, but I meant fifth. And then over here is another fifth, which I don't think they're going to make it. It's too hot right now. It's July. I was taking a chance on it. It didn't work. That's just part of it, is experimenting, seeing what's going to work and what's not working. It didn't work. So, but little beans coming off of that. I have some that are ready to harvest off of this one. The tomatoes are finally getting ripe. The kids have been eating off of that. So I had to just make sure that they are getting enough. Kind of had a bone meal mixture that I put in with all the tomatoes to try to give them a boost because it is pretty rough right now. And these two are not growing as fast, but they were kind of skimpy to begin with. The kale is still doing great. More tomatoes. I only had one bean really make it. That guy's not going to make it. That one didn't make it. That one didn't make it. And this was with me making sure that it was wet and moisture, but that's just how hot it is right now. That guy may or may not make it, but look at the tomatoes. They are growing so good. So, and then we're still working on the cow panels right now. They're not so big where we have to have them supported right now. So we're kind of seeing how far I can push that. So here's the beans and the other tomatoes. Aren't they doing great? So this will definitely have to have a cow panel. And this one will be easy. We can just attach it with a board and across the back. Or maybe just some fencing wire. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I'll just try it like I do everything else. And then the peppers are doing good. This one I'm going to have to pull. I was trying to make sure it would make it, but it's not. So, lunchbox peppers. Well, I'm going to have to come cut it. It's on there pretty tough. Okay, I know my cucumber looks terrible, but I'm saving seeds off of a mumbo jumbo cucumber back there that I did not realize was back there. It was hiding from me until I was about to pull the plant. I was like, oh, so I'm going to take seeds from that. So learn my lesson there. I still have lettuce growing, guys. There is still lettuce growing in behind here, but this gets more shadow through here. Same thing with the piece of lettuce that's right back there, is it's getting more shadow. So I'm learning. I'm getting that. Everything's just having to stay watered really good. Watering those plants. Here is my birdhouse gourd. So I'm trying to baby it, make sure it does okay so it can start going up this cow panel and hopefully across my trellis. So that has been a journey this year, trying to figure out what is going to work up here on the porch. They'll go across the pergola and provide us some shade. So this is my third attempt to find a plant that will work the right way, because the Lima beans are producing. I'm getting plenty of beans off of them, but it's not doing the coverage that I was hoping it would do, like it does down at the bottom. And a lot of that may be root system. I may run into the same problem here,
is there just may not be enough depth for the root system. I may actually dig a big, huge round to not disturb the roots, put more soil up there, and then put it back down. It's probably what I'm going to do, or something like I did the tomatoes right there. I was just trying to make sure that the seeds would come up. So that was my plan there. And then I will be planting there. It's just so hot. I'm not planting anything else up here right now. It's too hot. They won't make it. I pulled all the zucchini and squash out of this bed, and I pushed the soil up and up, almost to create, I'm scared I'm going to use the wrong word. I want to say a berm, but it's almost like a little swale. So I've pushed it up so that the water stays in with the beans and not out in here where there's nothing planted. And once again, that's just a waiting game of got to wait when it's time. Now, I'm saying I'm not planting anything in July. At the very end of July, I will be seeding things indoors in trays. And then in August, I will be putting them out because
So I'm not putting any plants or seeds in the ground in July. It's just too hot. But I am going to start seeds on the inside in trays at the very end of July. And then they should be about ready at the end of August to put out. It's still really hot and steamy in August too. And your plants are just not going to make it as babies. And so at the end of August, I'll be putting new stuff out. They'll have enough growth on them that hopefully they'll just really go, really good. So several brassicas, different. I'll probably try some more squash. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna try some more squash and see what happens. And then my carrots and my lettuces, I'm gonna save those and direct sow them probably in September when it starts to cool down a little bit, but just can't do it in July.
all right, so here you have to remember that your plants are going to need water, okay? So they're not in the ground. They can't get those really super, super deep root systems, and they don't have just a wealth of moist soil around them. They're going to lose their moisture, so just make sure you're watering. Like I said before, I'm not watering every day. I'm just doing some really deep watering, and you just need to watch your plant. Like this one will wilt. Now, I can tell the difference between it's just, okay, extremely hot right now. I'm not going to put that much effort into sending all of my moisture into my leaves. And then once the sun kind of goes away, it perks back up. You need to watch your plants. You'll learn the difference between, okay, I'm just dealing with heat right now, or, hey, I desperately need some water. And if it desperately needs some water, I come out here and I water it. So just, make sure that you're watching your plants and you're watching to see what they're telling you. This bed was not successful. It didn't make it, guys. I tried to make lettuce out of it. It did not work. So we will be doing something else with that and getting that done. Y'all see my weird little stick? My kids found that, and it's the most awesome vine. And if we can find more of them, I'm actually thinking about putting them up here and weaving them through, and that maybe it'll give the vine something else to hang on to. So Luffa Gourd, definitely the problem is there's just not enough space for the root system. So I'm learning because the one down on the big garden is doing amazing. Baby birds are finally out of this plant, so I was able to water it, and it is perked back up. It's doing great. My citronellas are still doing good. You see my cute little pillow my mama got me for my birthday? Isn't that cute? So, and then kale is rocking it over here in this bed, and it's because it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, so that has been awesome. But I have noticed that it works great for kale. It's doing great for the beans. But it's not so great, I guess, compared to when I did have them in the sun for the cowpeas and for the clematis. It just doesn't seem to be producing as much flowers and as many beans as I really think it should. So,
All right, so the things I've learned here on the porch is I can't grow lettuce in July. I tried. It's not going to work. At least not there. And the squash only made it to about when I thought it was. Had to pull it. It had squash vine borer, which I'll show you now. I actually did shoot a video of that, so that way you'll know what it looks like. So out here on the patio, I have already pulled up all the squash and zucchini from this bed because I noticed it had the vine borer. And so I looked over here, and sure enough, and I wanted to show y'all up close, this right here is where it's bore into the vine, and it's eating all of the inside. So your plant's going to die.
So you might as well just pull them up. So these, you see, I can pull this and it's just coming apart. And of course, it's in that one. It's in all of these. So all these are going to be pulled up now.
But the tomatoes seem to be doing okay. So I'm very, very hopeful that that is going to work. I have plans coming for August. So it's not the end, okay? If you haven't noticed already, I plant every month. I don't think, oh, okay, it's just summer, this is just fall. I'm thinking by month, and that has really changed the way that I've gardened, and I'll probably end up doing a video on that. You'll have to excuse me. I've had so much going on lately between putting things up, school will be starting again soon, and just stuff is going on here that it's just been a lot of work, and I'm shooting the videos. It's just getting them edited and put up on the channel. So just stay tuned. They're coming, I promise. Along with working on the website too. So, but let's go ahead and let's see the rest of the homestead.
Okay, so we have the little chickens have been moved out to the outdoor tractor. They were actually hopping out of the brooder, and the larger chickens that were in there have been moved to the quail cage, and we harvested the quail, and I did a awesome job on them. I have to say that the quail was very good. It tasted awesome. So we have a batch of quail. My mother-in-law is hatching a batch of quail for us right now. So as soon as they hatch, they will go in the brooder, and then we will, hopefully by then, the chickens that are in their cage will be big enough to go into the permaculture orchard. So right now, they're just too small. They can get through the wire, and these babies are definitely too small. So hopefully by the rotation of them, we'll have that down pat. We have actually, you can see the water hose, we have had to spend the past 2 days going through all the fruit trees and vines and deep watering. We've been out here until it's dark and you almost can't see, trying to water the plants. The grapes have suffered in the heat. It's gotten so bad. It kept saying it was going to rain. I don't know if that happened to y'all or not, but it would say it was going to rain and we would wait all week and nothing would happen, because we definitely want rainwater on all of our plants instead of, the water hose. So it's just so much better. Same thing on the porch. We water with rainwater. And so, but you have to do what you have to do, and it was much needed. We've lost a lot of the grapes. They shriveled up because it was so hot. That's something that we're going to think about in the future, is running a line out to the grapes and out there to the back, because we actually lost both of our blackberries. They were producing, they were doing great, and it just got so hot. Which the blackberries are back there. If you can see the birdhouse, that's a separate trellis. It was hot. I lost all of my artichokes through there. They were doing great until it just got way too hot. But the pumpkins, there's some pumpkins that are doing pretty good down there, but there's just not enough water. So that's definitely in the future, is there's going to have to be a line that we run to the grapes, to the blackberries, to the artichokes and mulberries, and if we make that a garden. There's also going to have to be some major soil amendments. We're just going to have to just bring in soil and really dump it and start working on that and wood chipping it. So we know what we need to do now, and like it said, this year was a year of experimentation, and that's something that we learned. So that's going to be in the future. So we have moved the set of chickens that we hatched. So these are the guys that we hatched out of the eggs, and we have 3 roosters and 4 hens. So we're going to end up with 14 hens, and I've been picking up the roosters, trying to figure out which one I like, which one's going to be nice. But really, they don't start to get mean, we find, until about a year old, and then that's when they start to get that aggressiveness and stuff. So we're going to keep working with them, and hopefully we'll end up with a nice rooster. That's the big deal. The kids hate a mean rooster. I hate a mean rooster. I hate dealing with it. So we will figure it out then. But they are in here in the quail cage. You can see they've been eating some watermelon. We're having to make sure they stay super watered. That's why the water hose is out here, to make sure that they are getting watered. So it's major time to make sure all of your animals are getting enough water. There's one of my rooster guys. Yeah. Oh, and right there, you too. We got a storm shelter, guys. So this was amazing. Contacted them. We got this for a really great price. It was actually the best price point for what it is. It holds 15 people. It's in ground. And we really need a storm shelter because for the past let's see, Rivers is 5 years. We have had many close calls around us, and so this is just going to make us feel better to have the family safe. It's right outside the back door where we can run in there, hopefully be prepared. It is having to air out right now with the door open and seal with the concrete and the paint. If anybody has one of these styles and you have put grass over it or dirt over it, if you will comment below and let us know how that worked out, or if that was a bad experience for you or a good experience for you. We're trying to cool it down a little bit to use it as a root cellar and to also keep it cooler because it does get super hot right now. Plan on putting little turbines on the top to suck some of that air and humidity out. And then I had plans for this. I am a huge Hobbit and Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm going to let you figure out what you think I'm going to do with this. I ended up with more meat chickens. Look at that. I said I wouldn't because it was too hot, but not last Sunday, Sunday before, so we've had these for 2 weeks. Okay, so we're going to church. We're all dressed up for church. We're going to church. We leave early so that I can get 2 of my kids' rain boots because they really need some rain boots. Theirs had busted. I was going to get their rain boots, going to run to Tractor Supply real quick for church. Not a big deal. Get their boots, get that, and I hear the cheep cheeps. I'm like, oh, I hear the cheep cheeps. It's like, let's just go look. Well, of course, they had a group of Cornish Cross that had already been there. I could tell they were a lot older. And the guy tells me, yeah, they've been here for 2 weeks. So I know that these are 4 weeks old now. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, at that time when they get older, they will cut deals. They'll put them on sale and say, look, if you'll take them, I'll give you to them for this price. And I was like, ooh, 20 meat chickens for that price. I was like, okay, well, can you keep them for me? And of course, it's like, no, I can't guarantee I'll keep them for you. So we ended up putting them in the boxes and bringing them home and not even making it to church. And luckily, the black really is not bad. I've been coming out here throughout the day. I have 2 big waterers out here for them. The light's not on at all. It doesn't come on at all. It's just there. We have 2 feeders for them. And if it gets too hot, we can hook up the fan and blow the fan through here if we need to. But they just, once again, are not big enough for the chicken pen either. And it's so hot outside that it doesn't matter if we put them in the chicken tractor or not. They're still going to be in the middle of the heat. They actually have more shade out here. So that's what we're doing out here with more meat chickens. Oh goodness. Okay, so up in the orchard area, we had to spend a day deep watering all of the plants. So this is the blueberries, figs, then we have peaches, plums, and apples in there. We figured out we could do it with 2 hoses. He had one inside of the orchard, or inside the fencing. I had another one out here, and we were just going from plant to plant to plant, just deep watering. The blueberries are just about done pretty much on every plant except for this one. This is our late one, and it usually is the last one. And so it's still producing, so I'm still coming out here getting little snackies, which are great for us. The figs have actually got figs on them. They have little baby figs coming, so excited about that. The inside of the orchard is doing great. So we have tomatoes are growing all inside of the tomato cage. Not tomato cage, my goodness. The chicken coop out there. If you remember from the last video, we found all these tomato plants growing in there, and it has to deal with all the nitrogen from the chicken poop and us putting all the compost or the scraps and stuff in there and just, letting them kind of compost it for us. So they are turning red, and I've gotten a few tomatoes out of there. But he has gone in here with the tractor and mowed once and then weed eated, but it's just one of those things that it's just super hot right now. And so we are just waiting on the chickens to get in here. They are just too small right now. They will get through the wire, so we're having to wait till they become big chickens. Here is my spiky plant. I've got to go practice on the pronunciation of that name. But as you can see, this one has done amazing. It's growing. We have this one. I have some little ones that are underneath it. They're probably going to get shadowed out by these. But it's done so well here along the house that we are really, I'm considering actually adding it along the whole side. Like I said, this has just been our cardboard area. Pizza boxes, any kind of box that can be composted has gone through here. He's just had to wait till he hasn't had time to weed eat again. That's been a problem. But probably making this whole thing nothing but a bed of these. And if we can get them to reseed every year, then we'll just continue to do that. But I wanted to show you the major, hopefully I can, trying not to get my shadow in it too bad. But look at the spikes on this, guys. Isn't that wicked cool? I love it. They are just amazing. And this part is so super velvety soft. But you're definitely not using that for anything else because of all the spikes on it. But it'll have this citrusy fruit that's about this big around. And it's kind of in between a lemon and an orange. But this year I'm prepared for that. I'm already trying to think about what I'm going to do, and we're definitely probably going to be juicing with that one. All right, because we live on a slope, our whole property is sloped where we homestead. I can kind of get away with shadows and light. So the top of the hill is getting hit by sun right now, but down here is not. So it's still in shadow, and I can still get things done down in the garden. Pulled a zucchini from there. I have more peppers growing here. You see that? They're growing really good. And yesterday, you kind of see the line through here, is only the second time in the whole time that the garden, that we started the garden, that's been watered with a water hose. And the first time was the very beginning of June when we also had a long stint of no rain. So second time, and the whole time the garden's been here, have I had to water with the water hose. And a lot of that is the intercropping, so that they're not just getting blasted by heat, they're shading out their roots. And also I'm using the grass as mulch. So if you look over here, all of this is going to be put into the garden, and I'm going to put it over the plants as mulch. Now some people don't like that because they're scared of grass seed. And I find that besides the crabgrass, that right there, that's the thing that I fight. But that's not coming from out there. That's sneaking in from over on the sides because that's not wood chipped. And you can see where it's snuck in from here, and it just kind of goes across the logs. But the rest of it is so easy to pull when you have the grass. So right here I have the grass clippings. Well, that right there didn't have any grass clippings, so I just pull it and it comes out so easy. Right here you just pull. Like, there's only one or two of them at a time, and so it's not a big deal. And I like using it. It's a free resource. It's there. Might as well. So, all right, side note there. So beans are doing great. I've got to come in and harvest these. I know that there's some really big ones in here because I didn't come out yesterday and do it. So that's kind of like a medium-sized one. There's some bigger ones in there. Underneath. I saw them yesterday when I was watering. So doing that deep water, have a ton of banana peppers. There's my yellow squash back there still going. Middle of July, and I still got some yellow neck squash right there too. There's more bell peppers back there that are doing pretty good. I noticed they had some good growth on them and stuff. You can see one right there. And then the cowpeas are doing amazing. So they are doing great. I'm getting good picks off of those every single day. The thing about succession planting and how I do it, I will say this. I guess the only downside that I can see to it is because I'm not harvesting huge groups of peas every single time, or huge groups of the peppers come along every single time. I guess it's more like the peas and beans. Because you're not just getting huge, super large quantities at one time because you succession planted like that, I do save them up and I wait until I get a pile. Like the cow peas, they do fine. I just keep them in a bucket in the refrigerator, and when I get a whole bunch of them, then I'll put them up. But I can't say that I've gotten just a huge amount to make it worth bringing out the pressure canner and canning. So if you are scared of the pressure canner, or that's something you just don't want to do, you are going to want to succession plant and make sure that you are doing that in ways that you can freeze, and that way you don't have to worry about the canning. So like I said, I got tons of cow peas I got to come out here and get. They're ready, and then I'll be ready to put up a batch this morning. I only have a few tomatoes left. That is it. We are pulling like crazy as soon as they look like they have blight. We're just praying that some of these make, but the porch is doing good. Between Carl's parents and my parents, we've gotten enough tomatoes, I think, that we can make some sauces while we wait on the other tomatoes to come along. So I'm still hopeful for that. That's not, it's just not a tragedy. It'll be okay. I think if you get really down in the dumps about everything that fails, you're going to have a hard time, gardening or just in life. I mean, it's okay. It's all right. You just try again. So bell peppers doing awesome. Those are those I got from Griffin Seed that time. Look at that, guys. I just want to see if I can get in there without getting just totally messy before church. I mean, look at that. And these are, I'm waiting. I could harvest them now and use them as a green bell pepper, but they can be red if I let them sit there long enough. And then that one back there is huge, but all of them are just loaded, and they're going to keep going. You can see some babies coming. So I probably, depending on how many tomatoes I get soon, and if I make salsa, I'll probably come in and go ahead and pick all the bell peppers that are there and let the next generation come through. Got green beans I've been gathering through there, and you can see there's blank spots. That was the zucchini. It's gone. Here we have the spaghetti squash and what was labeled Odessa squash. And the reason I still believe that this is Odessa, I told you last time I thought I was wrong. Now I've gone back to where I think I'm right. And the reason is the coloring. This is more of what the spaghetti squash would look like with the orange, the green, and then would slowly turn into the deep orange. This one has stayed white the whole time like the Odessa. The only problem is Odessa is supposed to be a summer squash, which means that I would eat it almost like a, yellowneck squash. But it's so hard. Like, this is so hard. I really think it'll keep. And I did break one open just to see what it would look like on the inside, and it almost looks spaghetti-like. So I've been leaving them to see what would happen. I'd much rather have more spaghetti-type squash anyway than summer squash. So these tomatoes are not doing that great. Don't see a lot of fruit on them. Green beans there, bell peppers there. But I have to say, all the squashes are rocking it. Ooh, that sun's coming up over there now. So the squashes doing good. As you can see, they're just hanging around everywhere. They're just hanging out. So, and more throughout there and there. So, pretty little trellis. More cowpeas. The pumpkin has grown and come out into the grass, so making it hard to mow and weed eat around it. Then I actually have some yellowneck squash growing in there. More little pumpkins. So, little tiny pumpkins. That is probably our biggest pumpkin in there, but it's kind of hard to see from this angle. More squashes coming up through there. More tomatoes. They're finally starting to ripen, so those are probably going to make it, those Romas. More yellowneck squash growing on here. I think I actually need to harvest one off of it. Yep. These are the Llama Beans. The Llama Beans are on these trellises, and they are doing about the same as last year. They are, when I plant them down here, they come in the late summer and really start just showing out. So I've been watching them, I've been filling the pods, been looking at them, and they are getting there. So cucumbers, I'm getting cucumbers like crazy. I've created 3 different types of relishes. I have pickled some classic pickle, and now I'm working on the sweet gherkins, which I wasn't worried about until my kids found the last jar in the pantry, and they ate every one of them. 2 of my kids smashed that jar and have requested more. So now I'm picking them really small, and we're making the sweet gherkin pickles. So another pumpkin, and this is a pumpkin plant, but I've yet to see any pumpkins on it. So this hopefully will give us some later pumpkins compared to these pumpkins, because they're going to be done really soon. And another cucumber. Once again, picking the little ones off of that. I've got to do that. So it's time. Like that one. You will be perfect for my gherkin sweet pickles. Here is the loofah. So if you can, it's the only thing about, I have to change my light. The loofah plant here, you can see is rocking it, and that is just one plant. So that's the difference between that root structure. Right here is all of our butternut squashes. So they are doing well. A few tomatoes that are still hanging on. The butternuts are going up the trellises now, so I've been moving them up the trellises along with that rogue cucumber there. Can you see a better picture of the loofah? Just one plant, it's gonna rock it. You just wait and see. That's a fall gourd too. They'll show it then. More llamas mixed in with the butternuts. More pumpkins going into the trail here. So here we have a pumpkin. You have llama beans. You have the yellowneck squash. You have scallop squash. There's another scallop that needs to be picked soon. I'm gonna let it grow just a little bit more. So if you watch the squash video, I'll link that above too. So you can see just kind of some info that I've learned through studying about the squash. And then we have another scallop right here. This one tends to be on the whitish side, and that one has ended up being like the bright yellow. And there's a few tomatoes through here hiding out. So, and on this side. So this bed, that was all tomatoes. All of them were pulled. This bed is going to end up being my Brussels sprout bed. So I'm going to put those in there, and also some runner beans on the other side. So I've got to weed it, and I've got to mulch it really good and amend it before I get those Brussels sprouts in there. More llama beans, which you saw on the other side. And then the last bed, I have let the wilderness take over the strawberries, guys, because I'm going to be pulling the runners on those strawberries, and we are going to be using those for next year's strawberry crop, and taking that trellis out if I don't put beans on it. I may put beans on it. So it's just hot. You got to pick and choose your battles right now, and that is not a battle that I want to choose in the heat. So, all right.
All right, guys, well, that's the end of the homestead tour. I hope you enjoyed it. So y'all stay safe out there. It's super hot right now. Only work in the morning and the late afternoon. Make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids, especially water, okay? So I hope that you learned some stuff on the tour as I'm talking, and getting some facts or just some suggestions of what I do. Now, remember, everybody's homestead is different, so do the things that you think will work for you, and it's okay if they don't. It's a learning experience. If you're not constantly learning, you're not growing, so that's important to make sure that you're still growing. Definitely, if you've enjoyed this or you get something out of the videos, please hit subscribe. That helps us out. Give us a thumbs up, share. You can tag somebody in a message or on social. Every single one of those, and even comments, actually helps us and boosts us up a little bit, and gives me some encouragement, because it is a lot of work to come out here and shoot videos and to edit them and to get them out to y'all. So when I get those positive comments and those shares on social, it really kind of pumps me up a little bit to keep going. So I thank you for that. Definitely go check out the website. It is totally revamped. It's new. And truthfully, I'm proud of it. I think it's beautiful now, and I love the way it looks. If you are interested in finding more information and tips and stuff, definitely go on there. I'm building a community. I'm trying to keep you updated through the newsletter, so sign up for that. And if you are on the newsletter, you actually get some bonuses that you're not going to see on the social or on here necessarily, okay? So you get to find out about those, and you're the only ones that know about those and will get those, all right? You can also check us out on social. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and Parlor now as Wildwood Wonder. So if you want to get more information or see those pictures that I'm posting, a few short videos on TikTok. I actually have talked about things on TikTok that I haven't here on the YouTube channel just because they're really short clips. And that's just a good place to put those really short, clippy, facts or whatever. So you can check me out on there. Just thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the likes and the shares. And like I said, just stay safe in that heat this week, and I will see y'all next time.